Hello everybody, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. I'm back again, this time fighting off the COVID-19 blues with watching some Clone Wars on Disney Plus and the latest installment, episode 4 of the final season, entitled Unfinished Business. I'm going to jump straight into my reaction, review, recap, what have you. Just a quick reminder that these Clone Wars videos contain heavy spoilers as I recap the episode. So if that's something you're interested in avoiding, my video is going to have spoilers throughout. So with that being said, I got my notebook as always. I'm going to dive straight into the episode Unfinished Business. So this looks to be the final episode of a 4-episode arc, with involving the Bad Batch, the clone special clone force. So this episode picks up after the last one. Echo has been rescued by everybody, and they are now all back on Anaxes, returned from Skako Minor. And Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Rex are all plotting strategy to retake all of the production facilities on Anaxes away from the Separatists. And they're trying to come up with a strategy, and Echo comes in and offers his assistance, saying that he's got a plan for how he can successfully infiltrate these bases and help the Republic retake them. Rex is a little doubtful at first, thinking that it's too soon for Echo to jump right back into combat or battle or anything like that. But Echo tells him, look, I have a special ability here. I'm the only person who really could help here. I have a plan where I can infiltrate their systems and feed them false information so that the Republic can actually win. Basically doing what the Separatists were doing to take Anaxes in the first place, but in reverse. So Echo's plan is to infiltrate Admiral Trench's dreadnought, which is flying above the planet, and then basically upload himself or insert himself into the dreadnought's interface and give false commands to Trench, false advice to Trench and his droids that would give the Republic the advantage. You'll remember from the previous episode, after Echo was taken from the Techno Union on Skako Minor, the Wat Tambor, who's the leader of the Techno Union, elected to not inform Admiral Trench and the Separatists that Echo was stolen, and that their technology and everything, their algorithm was gone, because they wanted the chance to be able to reclaim it for themselves and recoup their financial losses, so they didn't inform Admiral Trench of what was going on, which is a big sort of aspect of what goes down in this episode. So that's how Echo, he reminds them of that and says, look, if we're feeding them false information, then Trench is just going to assume that it's business as usual, that the information is coming from the algorithm on Skako Minor and the Techno Union, and he'll go ahead with the plans. And so Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi think that's a good idea, so they set this mission off. Everybody takes off on the Havoc Marauder. Anakin and the Bad Batch take off on the Havoc Marauder. There's a little cutscene where Wrecker, the Heavy and the Bad Batch, mentions that he's annoyed that they're on yet another stealth mission. And as they're approaching the Dreadnought, Echo is able to get permission to dock onto the Dreadnought, because he transmits a signal to the droid systems and basically masks or cloaks their ship as a Separatist shuttle. So the droids think that a Separatist shuttle is docking into the Dreadnought instead of the clone ship Havoc Marauder. Then down on the planet, Mace Windu and Obi-Wan lead an attack on the Separatist assembly plant, where they have all, they're putting together ships and droids and all that stuff. And they fly down their troop transport, the Lat gunships and Y-wing fighter bombers, and start taking this assembly plant. And there's this battle ensues, which is a pretty cool scene. And then as they get down into the plant, there's a really great Mace Windu bit where he is standing up on this elevated platform, and there's all of these B1 battle droids below, and he basically gives them a chance to surrender themselves. He gives this awesome speech where he says, "Look, so far in the course of the Clone Wars, I have personally destroyed and dismantled over 100,000 B1 battle droids, and if you don't want to end up like the rest of them, I'm giving you a chance right now to put down your weapons." And it's this like really cool Mace Windu moment, and they all elect to start shooting on him, and they don't take him up on his offer, and Obi-Wan says, "Well, at least you tried," and then he and Obi-Wan go to work and just start taking out all of these droids. So it's like a really cool piece of dialogue, I thought. And then while that's going on down on the planet, while they're fighting this battle in the assembly plant, um, it cuts to Admiral Trench, and he learns from he's got like a right hand super tactical battle droid with him that is, you know, feeding him information and advice, and that droid lets him know that the plant is under attack by the Republic, and Trench is starting to get his information from so he's Echo is tapped into the main interface of the Dreadnought. They've infiltrated the Dreadnought's ship, and they're starting to feed information to Admiral Trench. Admiral Trench thinks that the Jedi are being overconfident, the Republic are arrogant, and he'll be able to take them out. And he gets he's starting to get this information from what he thinks is the algorithm on Skako Minor. Tech from the Bad Batch very wisely taps in as well and cloaks Echo's transmission to make it look like that it's coming from Skako Minor, so that they aren't fooled into thinking that it's coming internally, but rather, you know, that it's business as usual. So Echo sends this plan to Admiral Trench, who thinks he's getting, you know, the tactics that he's always been getting in the first place. And Echo tells him to send all the droid troops down to the assembly plant because the Republic is putting all their faith in the Jedi, so send a full force in, send all the troops down. And so that's what he does. He orders like hundreds of these battle droids to go in. And at first, Hunter and Tech, who are with Echo and Anakin, are dubious. They think Echo... They've been sort of... leery of him from the beginning of this, and even at the end of the last episode, and they sort of think there's a chance that he might be like a sleeper agent, that he might still be working with the Separatists or whatever. So they're a little skeptical of him, and this makes him look bad because they think, well, there's a chance that he might just be sending all these droids in, and that we're going to do nothing about it, and then all of these numbers are going to overwhelm Obi-Wan and Mace Windu, and everybody's just going to die, and that this is part of the plan. And Echo says, "Look, this is part of my plan. I'm trying. I want to get..." He wants to get all of the droids consolidated in there with the Jedi, so they're all in one spot, and then send this impulse, energy impulse through the system that just electrocutes all of the droids at once and takes them out all in one fell swoop. And like I said, the Bad Batch guys, Tech and Hunter, are like, I don't know if this is gonna work, or you know, if he's lying or not. And Anakin says, "Look, we just have to trust him." Anakin and Rex are like, "We just have to trust him." And so they go with it. They go with Echo's plan, and they say that they trust him. And Trench, of course, thinks that he has the Republic on the ropes. And then all of a sudden, Echo sends that pulse through, the energy pulse, and boom, all of these droids just start dropping like flies left and right. That, you know, keeps Obi-Wan and the clones and Mace Windu from dying. And they all just fall down, so Echo was being honest. Trench is then shocked that the information from his algorithm failed, and that the Republic has the upper hand all of a sudden. And at that point, the tactical droid, after their failure, the tactical droid finds, tapping into the system to see what went wrong, he finds through a back channel that the algorithm has been coming from on the ship, and that they're being messed with. So Trench sends the battle droids to wherever the source of the algorithm is coming from, and he tells them to go take care of it. The clones, the Bad Batch guys that are with Echo and Anakin, they're getting ready to leave and unplug so they can leave the ship and get out of there, but just as they're about to, Echo picks up a transmission that Trench has just sent, that he has activated a massive bomb that's underneath the assembly plant. and every the planet's going to be exploded. That section of the planet's going to be exploded, and the clones and Jedi and everybody inside are going to die. And it's a bad deal. He's going to activate this massive bomb as sort of a last ditch thing to take out the Republic. So Echo stays plugged in to the system to see if he can continue to thwart the information, get the codes to disable the bomb. Back down in the assembly plant, Obi-Wan Kenobi starts when he gets a transmission from Anakin saying, "Look, we found this bomb. We're trying to figure out what to do about it." Obi-Wan Kenobi starts a evacuation. He's helping all the clones get evacuated, and meanwhile, Mace Windu goes down to the see if he can find the bomb beneath the assembly plant, and he does find that bomb. He gets down there in the guts of the assembly plant. Echo is then feeding Mace Windu. So there's like a big force field around the bomb, and there's all these knobs and stuff that Mace Windu can control with the force to try to get the right code and the right digits and turn them off. Echo is getting the code one digit at a time and sending them to Mace, and he's turning the bomb off, and they get one number shy of disarming the bomb, and the droids, through their back channel, figure out where the transmissions are coming from, and they send an impulse down to Echo, which blasts him out of the interface, and he gets electrocuted and rendered unconscious before he can deliver the final number. So they haven't been able to disable the bomb yet. Meanwhile, Anakin, when he sees that Echo has been unconscious, he runs out to go see if he can just go to straight to the bridge and confront Admiral Trench for himself, while Mace Windu is figuring out if he can disable this bomb or not. Anakin makes it to the bridge. Trench is attempting to flee the bridge. He's getting ready to leave and get on some escape shuttle or something like that. And Anakin gets in there, takes out Trench's droids that are guarding him in there. There's like 2 or 3 of them. He takes them all out and confronts Trench and tells him, "Give me the last number of the code. We're going to disable this bomb." And Trench says, "Look, I'm not really..." He basically doubles down and taunts Anakin. He says, "I'm not going to do anything you say. If I fail this mission, then Dooku is going to kill me anyway, and I would rather deal with you than him because the Jedi have a code, and you're not going to kill me, but Dooku would." And Anakin gets angry and says, "I wouldn't be so sure about me. I don't subscribe to those things the way that you think." And he takes his lightsaber and chops off all of Admiral Trench's left set of arms. He's got 6 or 8 arms. He's like a spider. And all of his left side, Anakin whacks off all of his arms and says, "You taking me seriously yet? Give me that number." So that was like a really unexpected thing for Anakin to do. There's evidence that he's obviously slipping further and further from Jedi principles and closer to the dark side. So Trench gives him the number because he's now properly intimidated. He's just lost all of his arms. Trench gives him the number, and Anakin buzzes it down to Mace Windu, who's able to use it. Mace Windu is just about to guess. He's like, "I don't know. I don't want the bomb to go off, so I might as well just guess. That's better than nothing." And Anakin says, "You don't have to guess. I've got the number. Trench gave it to me." He gives it to Windu, and Windu is able to disable the bomb. While Anakin is talking with Mace Windu on the comm, Trench has this kind of cool thing. He's got like a cane staff that he walks around with, and there's a cool thing that comes out of his... like the bobble on his hand and the cane, and it's like a web shooter thing because he's a giant spider, and there's like a web thing that comes out of it, and it's like I don't know, it's like an electro web field thing, which is really cool. It's like a really cool weapon, and he tries to attack Anakin with it. Anakin's not having it for a second. He's able to avoid the jump attack from Trench and basically just turns around, fires up the lightsaber, and runs him straight through with it and just kills him right then and there. Anakin just makes short work of him and doesn't even try to negotiate with him or bring him in as a prisoner or anything like that. He just murders him. So that was a really unexpected thing as well, or I guess expected, whatever you want to say. It's they're getting to it now in this final season of the show where Anakin is showing that he's headed that way. He's willing to fudge certain principles that he hasn't been so far in the series, and this episode is really showing the seeds of that. So it's really that was really awesome to see because it was a nice little scene between him and Trench, and it was really tense. And I genuinely didn't expect Anakin to be so violent at this juncture. Um, so that happens, and then as Anakin is getting ready to leave after Trench is dead, he finds a remote detonator for these bombs that are all set up around. The Bad Batch has been running around setting up these bombs, and he steals this detonator. Um, the Bad Batch is fighting their way out. There's a cool scene where the sniper character shoots the sniper's name is Ricochet. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. And he shoots a shot that ricochets up and down the hallway and just bounces around and takes out like 10 droids, which is really cool. And then they get on an escape shuttle. Wrecker is disappointed that he wasn't able to take out as many droids. He didn't really get to be involved in the action as much because it was sort of more of a stealth mission. But Anakin gives him the detonator. He's like, I stole this for you. It was a present. And Wrecker's like, this is the happiest day of my life. And then he pushes the button and all the dreadnoughts and surrounding ships explode. So that was kind of a cool little sequence too. And then finally they get back down onto the planet, onto Anaxis, and the generals congratulate the clones and the Bad Batch and tell them, they're due for some medals and commendations. The Bad Batch doesn't care about any of that. They're not in it for the medals. They're just in it for the experience of it. And there's just sort of a little scene at the end where the Bad Batch is talking to Echo, and they tell him, look, if you don't feel like you belong here anymore with the regular Republic forces, and if you feel like you're different now, if you're different than everybody, you're welcome to find us and become one of us. They basically invite him to join the Bad Batch. And Echo walks off and has a little conversation with Rex. Rex comes up to him and congratulates him and tells him it's good to have him there and stuff. But Rex knows what's going on. He's intuitive. And he acknowledges to Echo, if you feel like you belong with them, that's where your heart is. We go way back. I've known you for a long time. If that's where you feel you need to be, that's where you need to go. And Echo decides to walk off and go with the Bad Batch. He decides to take him up on their offer, and he turns around to Rex and gives him one last salute with his missing arm, his new appendage. Gives him one last salute. Rex gives him a salute back, and it's a really awesome, tender scene. So Echo's joined the Bad Batch. He's like the new 5th member of the crew. So that was a really great way to end this arc. There's a lot of cool moments in this episode. I really enjoyed it. The Mace Windu sort of offer ultimatum scene, all the stuff with Anakin and Trench was really cool. Trench was one of my favorite characters until he got smoked by Anakin. All of that stuff was great. The dreadnoughts blowing up. There was just a lot of cool action and a lot of great resolution for this 4-episode arc. So we're going into uncharted territory next, I think, with Clone Wars Season 7. It'd be really cool to see where it goes next. I do think that we're officially done with this story arc, and it was really great. It wrapped up in a really cool way. I really enjoyed it, and it was cool to see Echo go off with the Bad Batch and have his moment with Rex. It was a really nice way to tie it up. So, a lot of fun on this one. It was a really fun way to fight the blues that we're all going through. I hope that watching this was entertaining and informative and a nice little bright spot in your day. I hope that you're all staying safe and taking care of each other in these times. And I hope this was a nice little bright spot, and maybe you could go watch the Clone Wars and enjoy some Disney Plus or whatever. That's partially what I'm doing. So thanks for giving me a chance to have an outlet. Thanks as always for watching these. And until the next one, when they release a new episode next week, I'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.